She's a postdoctoral research fellow at the ICAN School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York.
Felt that it was like, oh, you're Indian, so, this and that. People have actually been very curious to learn about Indian culture.
Her research is focused on studying the VEGF peptide on Alzheimer's disease progression.
Follow your heart, work hard and try and get to it. And for the Indian Americans here, we're doing great.
NewsX proudly presents the VaKu Diaspora Dialogue with Bhavita, Walia. Well, hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX VaKu. My name is Megha, and joining me on the broadcast is Bhavita Walia, who's a postdoctoral research fellow at ICAN School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York, in the United States of America. It's good to have you, Bhavita, on the show with us.
Thanks, Megha. It's good to be here.
Wanting to understand from you your journey that you made from India to America. Was it the American dream that you were looking to build for yourself?
So my journey was actually, I did my undergrad in Delhi and I did my master's in Scotland and was in Delhi for a few years and then finally decided to apply for PhD programs. My longstanding interest has always been stem cells and regenerative medicine, like looking to see what knowledge we can get from developmental biology or during our development, and how can we apply that to sort of in a regenerative manner to fix aging related diseases. So to that effect, I applied to a bunch of different universities, got accepted to the University of Connecticut in Farmington, and I came here to my PhD. My thesis work was on using these adult mesenchymal stem cells and studying their role in fracture healing using like mouse models. And I sort of translated that further into my first postdoctoral fellowship also at the ICAN School of Mount Sinai. And I was looking at, again, sort of comparing tendon repair in newborn mice versus like older mice. And then sort of to that effect, I'm continuing that now in a completely different field in the neuroscience lab where we study Alzheimer's disease. And part of that investigation is also going to involve, hopefully at some point, human induced pluripotent stem cells to sort of model brain regeneration in like a tissue culture dish and sort of try and sort of find drugs that can improve Alzheimer's symptoms. Hopefully one day.
Wow, that's quite heavy. And in fact,
I'm not the only one doing it. There's a lot of other people. So,
okay. And were you always interested in biology and the shape that your career has taken at this point of time, the research fellow and the work that you're doing in terms of neurosciences and figuring out solutions, figuring out some sort of panacea for all these neurotic diseases? Is that what you always wanted to do?
Biology has always definitely been a subject that I've always been interested in right from school. I never thought I was cut out for medical school because I don't think I could handle dissecting like human body. So for me, like mice is the limit. But like jokes apart, yeah, this is definitely a career that I really enjoy, research. And, it's good to know that someday maybe something that you find could potentially help improve human health and life someday in the future.
Mm. Do you think America provides you better opportunities vis-a-vis the opportunities that you may have had in India in terms of the kind of career that you're pursuing?
For me, I would say that's an unhesitating yes. The kind of work culture and work ethic that is sort of practiced here is very different from that of India, where you're respected based on the work you do and the hard work that you put in, as opposed to just, demanding it based on seniority. And then there's also less relative gender disparities here. There's more opportunities for women. There's specific like fellowships that are targeted at women. And I've always found that, no matter who I interacted with, if it was like a Nobel winning professor or a fellow postdoc, the sort of camaraderie and sort of collegiate environment is really good. And everybody sort of wants to work towards improving the research, improving, what you get out there in terms of your work, as opposed to being like, I'm so-and-so. So for me, like that was a big part of wanting to come here. And I have not experienced anything that I didn't like in sort of any of the people that I've worked with. Everyone's been incredibly encouraging, collaborative, very sort of, open to feedback as well. Like, even if it's someone senior to you and you have something to say to them that could potentially be taken as criticism, people are very open to listen to that. So that sort of engenders a very positive work environment. So that's something I really like. But that's on the more professional front. On the personal front, also, it's like, for personally, coming from Delhi, I find like it to be a lot safer. There's a lot more freedom for women here. I've been here for 10 years now, so I'm not really sure how much things have changed in Delhi at this point. But yeah, that was one of my bigger reasons that I could have my own life here.
Okay. So I would really be curious to understand, maybe at the start of your visit and then the longer stay and becoming a citizen of United States, it's, like you said, the journey.
I'm not a citizen yet.
Or in the future looking to get that green card and having started off 10 years ago, has there been a difference in the perception of the Americans, that the Indian Americans at this point of time sit? Are there changes that are positive and more conducive to the allowing for living of Indians who are Indian Americans living in America? Has it improved? Has it deteriorated? Or what are your personal perceptions of it?
So from my personal experience, I've never felt like it's been bad. I've always found the United States to be a very welcoming community in the places that I've lived and the people that I've worked with, or the people that I've been friends with. At no point have I felt that it was like, oh, you're Indian, so, this and that. People have actually been very curious to learn about Indian culture. I have many American friends who were like really interested in taking part in like Indian festivals with me. I got married here, so there's people who are involved in like her wedding who weren't at all familiar with Indian rituals or cultures, but very accepting, very welcoming, very willing to learn new things, try new foods, even if it meant they had to have lots of water after that. But it's been really nice. Yeah, I haven't felt like anything's wrong, and like I feel like the U.S. in general has been one of the countries in the world that is very welcoming of immigrants. Since a very long time, since like World War II, like Albert Einstein, Hargobind Khurana, and like Kamala Harris's mom, who came here as a scientist and researcher. All of these people came to this country, made a name for themselves. Some of the top tech companies are run by like people who have graduated or been educated in India, like Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Indra Nooyi. All of these are like really interesting. Like, and then last year, I think the head of the National Science Foundation is also Dr. I think Panchanathan, who was nominated. And the NSF is a big deal because it's like the largest funding body for non-medical science and engineering research. Right. So Indians are like welcome in the US. They're integrated into many different walks of life, many different career options. So I think it's a pretty great thing. I guess the only improvement I would say was like the backlog for green cards if you're Indian born is like 10 years. Yeah. So maybe there's some immigration reform that's needed there, but I think aside from that, it's been great.
Okay. Are you also part of some Indian American communities or forums that you would talk to us about? What are the objectives, what are the goals behind actually being participating in these communities?
So I haven't really been a big part of these like specific communities or forums as such. I guess, unless you count like student associations and things like that. But those are more like, sort of everyone gets together, you invite everyone, regardless of whether they're Indian, South Asian or not, to like celebrate festivals with you. We do have a lot of friends who were born in India or who are also like Indian Americans who've been born and raised here. In our friend community, we all gather and celebrate festivals together. But so our babies growing up would probably want to be part of some more like local South Asian parent groups to sort of, have him get familiarized with the culture more living here. So,
yeah. You being a first generation Indian American who has now laid down her roots, and you're in the process of building a base for your future generations. You have a little daughter. Do you think I mean, the challenges that you have faced, is it going to be a smoother ride for your future generations to then start off their careers and lives in America?
Well, absolutely. I definitely think so. Like, just the fact that, you're able to sort of come up in society, and the education system here opens up a whole other set of avenues for you to pursue. Like, a lot of the people who are second or third generation Americans, like off the top of your head, if you think of it, it's usually the entertainment industry that comes to mind. But people like Mindy Kaling or Hassan Minaj or Kumail Nanjiani, these are all like people whose parents had probably come here from India a while ago, and they've put down roots, and the kids were then able to sort of explore all these alternative career options, which, before that, probably in India, you would be like, go the doctor, engineer, lawyer route. But they're able to explore, like, get into all of these. And even like, Kamala Harris, she wouldn't be able to be where she is right now if it wasn't for her mom coming here, putting down roots and sort of opening that road to like be whatever she wants up for her. So that definitely is pretty amazing. And I think she's probably the best example of, where you can go with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Bhavita. You're making India and Indians proud across the world. And here's to hoping having you on the broadcast more often and you sharing your experiences with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
NewsX's ITV network have proudly launched the VaKu Diaspora Broadcasting Network.
VaKu DBN will be India's first mainstream platform dedicated to the diaspora community. Help support us. Become VaKu patrons at memboro.com/VaKu. You will get the first access to our interviews, make recommendations, merchandise access, ask questions, and get a shout out of thanks on our TV shows.
You can also suggest to us who should get the VaKu Golden Chakra Awards, and also tell us who should get into the VaKu Hall of Fame. Limited memberships are available at 100 rupees per month on Memboro VaKu.
Sign up now. Log on to memboro.com/VaKu.